here with a very special episode of I Live the 80s. And joining us tonight to talk all about their new video that's coming out. Actually, the song release is tomorrow. And they are here to talk with us. We have had them. You guys know one of the folks, and that is Scott. That is Elevate the Sky. Scott is here with us tonight. And the other is Star Madman. We have played her music on our mixtape Minute before. She has done a duet, of course, with Scott. And we are going to talk all about Close to You, which releases on Friday. And, of course, as always, with me, my co-captain, Ed. And, of course, Mr. Google, a shirtless Mr. Google at that. What's going on?
Oh my God, it's Sunny and Cher! Oh my God! Hello guys, how are you?
Good.
I thought Sunny died. Hey guys, how are you?
Good. How are
I'm
you?
glad to have you. Welcome guys, welcome aboard.
Yes, welcome. We're really excited to have you guys. And I can't say how honored Ed and I are to do this. You guys allowing us to show the video and stuff like that when it premieres is awesome. And we both watched the video, Ed and I, and it's absolutely amazing. So got to say that first. Heard the song prior to it, and what a job that both of you did on the song. It really, I mean, the reason I love synthwave is, and Ed, I know, could share this as well, but it takes you back. And that's what we talk about all the time on our show, is going back to the 80s. And that the song itself really, and I think I said this to Scott yesterday when we were chatting on Twitter, this I could totally, I remember the movie Some Kind of Wonderful. Yes. When they're, at the very end of that film, and you don't know what's going to happen. Is he going to go with one girl or is he going to go with, someone else? And he kind of goes back to the girl everybody kind of hoped he would. And I was saying this song could definitely play as the ending theme or part of that. And man, I absolutely love it. You guys absolutely killed it. Ed, I know you loved the video when you watched it.
I was compelled immediately as soon as I watched it to email both of you. I just loved it.
Thanks.
I was like hit with like a wave of emotion, not to sound all cheesy, but man, like seeing all the especially Ralph Macchio and all them together, all the couples and everything. I was like, damn, this is great. You guys did an amazing job, and I'm not kissing your butts because you're right on the screen or anything like that. That's serious. It was really good. Not good. It was great. It was awesome. I really, really enjoyed it. So you guys did an amazing job.
That's all Elevate the Sky. Yeah, he did all that work. He did a great job.
So honestly,
thanks. But she helped me with the idea. I'd throw some stuff at her, and then she'd be like, sure.
So how did you guys come up with that?
Yeah.
Oh wow. So there's this show called J360 Jams, and it's like a podcast, and Jay himself would just play a couple songs from everybody that submitted, and he just so happened to play Star Madman, which is the first time I've heard her. And I mean, I just completely stopped when I heard her music and her voice. I was like, oh shoot, I've got to contact this person. And so I think I messaged you, and I think we went back and forth a little bit and said, yeah, let's collaborate in the near future. Because at that time we were both working on a lot of stuff. So that's why it's taken all the way up until this point. Because this was last year, I think?
Yeah, at least, yeah. 6 months ago, I think, at least.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
Yeah.
So, a while. But it was worth it, for sure. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I couldn't be happier. She, I sent her the music. And I kid you not, it seemed like a day or two or something like that. And she sent it back to me. And that was the finished version, the melodies, the lyrics, everything.
Yeah. Well, I sent you the melody, that jam of me.
Oh, that's right. I forgot you sent the music one
is
first.
This okay?
Yeah.
you're like, yes. So we kind of went from there.
Music making fascinates me. I know we both know, Ed and I both used to work with a guy that owns a recording studio locally here. And when you go and you watch that process, it's amazing to watch. Like I never knew. I've loved music since I was a kid, but you don't really know what goes into that or what that entails unless you see that, as a process. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm sitting there watching him doing like bands, and you see, the guitar piece, the keyboard piece, the drum piece, and then of course the vocals and stuff that get weaved in. It's amazing, like how much goes into that. So Star, I have to ask you because we've spoken to Scott prior. What made you, or what got you into? Have you always sang? Since you were very young, or what got you into this? Like what got you into synthwave?
Synthwave, I am such a huge fan of new wave music, so I'm kind of more on the new wave, like synth pop side of synthwave. I've been doing this kind of stuff since like 2007 or so.
Oh wow, okay.
There's like stuff on my SoundCloud that is kind of synthwavy, I guess, but I didn't know it was called that back then. I guess I was just doing like new wave, but yeah, I kind of started then. I never really considered myself much of a vocalist either, and it took me a bit to find my voice. But eventually, like it just clicked, and then just started putting out, stuff with vocals because I hear melodies and lyrics all the time, and I just decided to like go for it and put out stuff with my vocals on it, and seems to have worked out so far. So, yeah.
I saw Scott's face when I kind of like was taken aback the same time you mentioned that about not knowing your like the vocal. I'm like,
Yeah.
your vocals are amazing. I've really, I'm probably the elder statesman in the crowd, and I've been listening to music since I was a very young man back in the 70s. But I don't think I've ever heard anyone that quite had vocals like you do.
Oh, wow.
And that's a compliment because like you always, when you hear somebody, you tend to compare them to, well, you sound like this, or you sound like this. You've got a very, very unique voice. And just listening to your stuff, and again, when we played it on our channel, on our mixtape minute, I was like, wow, so did you, was that just kind of, you just did you get that from like your style from it, or did that just come naturally to you?
It's kind of complicated. I took like 2 vocal lessons to kind of figure out like what to do. And it's really strange because with like different songs, I hear different singing styles. I don't know if you've noticed, like some of my songs sound a little bit different, like the tones and stuff. But that's just like the way I hear it. So I guess it just comes naturally, but it took a bit to like be really confident enough to be like, okay, this is what it's gonna sound like, and this is what I'm gonna do. So yeah,
that's awesome.
Some time.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Ed, go ahead. You have anything?
No, I'm
already. So is this just are you guys putting this on? I know both of you, or I know Scott was anyway, or Scott's in the middle of an album or working on an album. Is the track going to be on like any as part of albums that are coming up, or is this just a solo thing that you guys that you both did and both putting out that way?
Just a single.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it might possibly, make something in the future, but right now we plan to just release it as a single and have one on each Bandcamp page.
Yep.
If I could say that right.
A cassette single for sale.
A cassette. There's a blast from the past. Yeah. Yeah. Cassettes. What are they? Those things that used to get caught up in your...
You can find it for $5.99 at Sam Goody, right?
Right.
They're making a comeback though. People love cassettes and stuff. From what I've seen. So.
Amazing.
That's crazy.
Amazing.
Imagine if they start putting them back in cars again after all these years. Oh my God.
Yeah.
They are though. And it's funny because like the synthwave bands, So cassettes, I've gotten cassettes from like the Midnight. I've gotten cassettes from Gunship. It seems like, and of course it fits because they're the retro, side of that. I guess they would want to release stuff on retro formats.
Yeah.
So you're getting stuff like cassettes. I think the first one I got recently,
and they sit nice on your.
They do sit very nice on your shelf. Yes.
This is true.
I think the first one I got recently was the Stranger Things soundtrack when the first one came out on cassette. So yeah, I mean it's awesome. Even that in vinyl. I mean, who would have thought vinyl make a comeback after all these years too? I mean, it's.
I should get one to put it next to my nice 8-track.
Oh, let's go back
only
even
a matter
further.
of time.
Oh my God.
I still have my brother's Kiss Destroyer 8-track somewhere. I have to dig it out somewhere.
Wow.
Do you remember going back? Oh my God, I was laughing. I was telling a story about when my father used to have the. Of course, everyone's dad in the '70s had a big carpeted van. The old, the vans now. If you see somebody with it, you run away because you're like, yeah, that guy's a kidnapper. And in the van, of course, he had an 8-track, and I'm sitting there, and I hated those. You'd get right into the middle of a part of the song you like, and then all of a sudden, click, click. And it would go off, and then click, click, and the track would start. But it would never be in the spot where it left off when it started again. I'm like, oh, this is horrible.
But do you remember they would also get them airbrushed, and they would get like the big scenes, like they'd get like the Warrior Viking, like
the vans, yes,
and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Now you know me, I'm obsessed with this. There's this app called Reface. Did you guys ever see that? Now?
Oh my God, yes.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, they do like the
one where you
faces
can
of Tom
stick
Cruise and all that.
Oh
You guys aren't friends with me on Facebook, but I'm obsessed. So I find like that what are they called, the beauty, what was those things back in the day? I can't think of it now.
Glamour shots?
Glamour shots. So I go on, I Google like bad glamour shots of the 80s, and I find like all the bad ones, but then I reface my face over the glamour shots.
Is that what you have on your,
Yes.
do you have that on your Facebook Messenger? I was wondering what the hell that was.
I am beyond obsessed with this now, with this Reface app. But so that's what I would do. If I had one of those vans back in the day, I totally would have like spray painted like a Viking scene with like my face over it. Like that totally would have been my van.
I don't know if you guys can see that, but that
it's
probably
bad.
Yeah.
hold on.
No, it's
It has to back up too far.
Yeah.
That was a hit, like his head with like flowing long locks. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you could wait.
Oh
That's better.
That's better. It's awful, but it's awesome. And then I found a new website. It's called You Are Not a Photographer. And then what it is it's just people trying to be like photographers and using like all kinds of photography tricks. It is the funniest website known to man. So now I'm pulling all these awful photographs off of there. Oh, check it out. Like I'll totally give credit to that website. It's awesome. So I love Reface. That's the best app known to man. So anyway, we're taking away from you guys. Sorry about that.
No, it's all good.
That's
part of our thing. We just go off.
We totally go off track. So
yes, we absolutely do. I know Scott's a big fan of the 80s. Scott and I have talked about that quite often. Star, are you? I mean, you go back to that too? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I was alive in the 80s. I don't know if I
That's a good thing.
But yeah, like I'm a big New Wave fan. I like the 80s movies, like John Hughes and
yes,
Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Like, I don't know, Predator. Like, is an amazing fucking film. Like,
yes.
Like, I don't know.
What's the famous line from that? I ain't got time to bleed.
Yeah. There's so many one-liners from that film.
Oh, there are. There are.
Who would you say is like one of your favorite 80s artists? Like who influenced you?
Depeche Mode would be my number one.
Oh, there you go.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That's a band that they're on my list who I would like to see.
Yeah.
I'd like to see them in The Cure.
Yeah.
Oh,
I've seen
amazing.
them both, and they're great for sure. So you have to see it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to see them before.
The fact that they're still out there touring too, a lot of these bands after all these years is actually really cool.
Yeah.
So what I just ask you what influenced you? What oh man, what if you can, I mean, I know like what came in. Scott, did you do the video for the most part? Did you put the video together for the most part?
That's all him.
Oh yeah. The edit it together, and because I couldn't think of what to do with this song, because I thought, this song definitely sounds 80s. It kind of reminds me of like Madonna or Belinda Carlisle or something like that. And I thought, everybody's done everything, the palm trees and the grids. So I just thought, I'll just keep it simple and then throw together movie clips, like just romantic scenes.
Yeah. I mean, and when you guys see it, it's amazing. You'll go. It'll take you back, because there's some scenes in there that I'm sure people have probably forgotten about. There's some amazing movies that you put in there. I mean, everything from Rocky to Mermaid, the one with the my God,
Splash.
Splash. Thank you very much. Yeah, Top Gun. I saw some scenes in there from Top Gun. What was the movie Madonna was in? Was that Who's That Girl?
Desperately Seeking Susan.
Susan. Yeah. That's right. Yes. Okay. Yeah. I mean, there were some clips in there from so many different movies and stuff like that throughout the 80s. And that's what I said. I mean, the song, just like anything, is really, really going to take you back, because it's absolutely a love song. And when you see all the clips and stuff like that, I know you had Karate Kid thrown in there too, Ed.
One of the top 3.
Awesome.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Star, what favorite movies from the 80s? You said Predator.
Yeah, Predator. Oh my gosh, there's so many.
Karate Kid.
What's up there?
No influencing.
Ferris Bueller for sure.
Oh my gosh.
Why am I drawing a blank? There's so many.
That's hard. A lot.
That's right.
I did.
Clue? That was 80s. Clue was 80s, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, I love that.
That was
just rewatched that one.
It's so good. It's hilarious. I guess like the John Hughes stuff. For sure. Pretty much across the board. Ghostbusters, of course.
Did you see the reboot? Have you watched?
I have
not.
The
latest
one.
Really,
not
it's
the
really,
reboot, but
the remake or whatever.
Remake.
Yeah, the remake and everything. It was really good.
Whatever it's called. Yeah, I'll have to
Really
check it
good.
out. I'm apprehensive. I just love the original so much, so it's kind of hard to like bring myself to watch the new reboot remake sort of stuff, because
this one was really good.
It is okay.
It paid it a good tribute.
Yeah, I agree. It really was. There's so much. I would imagine it's hard, and I'm thinking it for you guys too. When you're doing this kind of music, and this the question really, I guess, would be for both of you, because you've been doing this for a little while now. When you're taking inspiration from these things that from the past. I would imagine it would probably be a little difficult too, because you're going and doing this kind of stuff, and like Scott mentioned about the video, it must be a little tough not to actually redo something and kind of do something the same when you're taking inspiration from stuff. So and I guess, like I said, this could be for both of you, but how hard is it to, when you're going through, and I know, Scott, you're in the process of doing the album and everything like that. You've been telling us about that for, a little bit, that you've been working on that. How hard is it too, when you do something, and let's say you get part of a song down and stuff like that, and then all of a sudden you're thinking, oh man, that's kind of too much like something that I've heard before. Did you ever run into anything like that? And if so, like how do you get around that?
Oh, either
or.
Well, music is derivative, so and it's not like a bad thing to I don't know, let your influences like shine through, I suppose. But yeah, there's a lot of like cliches that are in like the new wave music, synth wave sort of music that you kind of try to avoid, but sometimes you can't avoid. And you just have to make it unique. What helps, I think, is like, with modern production, modern sounds and stuff, you can kind of make it your own and make it more like contemporary than, you know, I guess retro sounding. But people do make it sound, you know, retro as well. So,
Oh yeah.
I think it just kind of depends on, you know, what you're going for as well. Just trying to avoid, you know, making the same song, but I don't know. That's kind of like what my take on it, I guess.
Okay. And Scott, from you, you know, from your previous album to this, and you know, it's the same probably with almost any band. You're going to go from one thing to the next, and I guess you try to maybe change up things a little bit. And but you know, where something we could look forward to as far as your upcoming album. So where, you know, from your last album to this one, were there any big changes you made? Was there anything more that maybe you kind of focused on with the new album that you have coming out?
Oh yeah. With the first album, I didn't really know what direction I was going to go in because one side of me was like, I want to go kind of dark, kind of almost dark synth area, and then of course I was inspired by the Midnight FM84 and that kind of stuff. So a part of me was like, let's do that, you know. So if you listen to the first album, there's a little bit of this mixture of that, and with this one, I really wanted to kind of stick with a very airy, dreamy theme. And it's kind of weird. It was kind of an accident. I was writing some songs for like a licensing company, and there was just a couple songs they decided not to use. And, you know, one of those became a song called Radio. And so I just kind of was writing that song and ended up thinking, oh, I kind of like this feeling, this vibe. So I kind of just went from there to try to, you know, make everything work out and sound, you know, like it's very cohesive. And so that's usually what I do when I write is sometimes there'll be a song that just kind of sets off everything. And then you just kind of have a direction you go in from that point.
Okay. Yeah. That's awesome.
Are you collaborating with anyone on your album or is it all you?
I'm going to put Moving in the Shadows with Chelsea Owen from Oceanside 85. So that's going to be on there.
Nice.
Yeah. I think that's the only one, though. There was another song that I had a collaboration. Collaborate. Sorry, I have this echo. So every time I talk, it's like double. So I don't know how to get that out. So it's like so distracting. But yeah, so I had a collaboration with a band, and it just didn't work out. So I decided just to keep that track off the album.
Okay, all right. So do you have any idea on when the album? I know we were talking about when your album was coming out. Do you have a release date set yet?
Not a hard date, but I'm thinking June.
Okay. So coming out in June. All right, that's awesome. Well, everybody will look forward to that.
Soon?
Soon in June.
That's the magic word. Soon.
Yes.
Soon?
It will be out.
You don't disappoint when you say that.
Oh my gosh.
So for each of you, what would be, if you would close your eyes and think, what would be a fond memory of like 80s, since we're like an 80s show? Like if you could think of like back, like a fond memories, like one.
I remember like going through my mother's cassettes and listening to like Pebbles and Madonna back in the day.
Yes.
Yeah. That was fun, and I think very like, I guess, inspirational, and I kind of like, you know, probably started this journey that I'm on, this musical obsession with, you know, new wave music. So maybe
that's awesome.
Yeah.
It all leads back to the cassette, see?
Oh, yes.
Pebbles, that's a blast from the past.
I know, yeah.
My gosh. Wow. Okay. All right. Scott, your turn.
Oh, man. One that sticks out a lot is my parents had this big stereo. I mean, it was like really huge. And, you know, I had the mic on there where you could record on the cassette tape. And my sister and brother had all these records like Styx and Journey, Billy Squier, Queen, and so I used to go in there and listen to those records and just get on that microphone and just pretend like I was them. So
That's adorable.
Been there, done that. I've Ed laughs at me because I'm a big Kiss. I'm a big Kiss fan. And
me too.
When I was not laughing at
you. He's done it. Trust me, he's laughed at me.
I laugh at you, yeah, but not for being a Kiss fan. I'm a Kiss fan too.
Growing up, my best friend and we literally get makeup kits. And you'd buy those really cheap Kiss makeup kits that they sold in the stores, and you're like, "Oh, this is going to be great." Until you go try to put it on your face, and nothing sticks to your face. And it's like, and then we're standing there, and we're doing the same thing. We're playing albums, and we're lip syncing to like Kiss songs in the middle of her living room with her parents right upstairs. And it's the funniest thing now because when you listen to those songs. And all of the sexual innuendo that is in almost every single one of their songs. And then you're thinking to yourself, all right, we're down here singing these songs. And then the parents come down and are like, all right, let's wrap this up now. And I'm like, oh, now I know why they didn't really like that. Because, oh my gosh. And that's kind of what we're all about, like with our show. Like you go back to the next show we're going to do is we're going to do a show about prom and about going to, and do I have a doozy of a prom story that I have to share with everybody. They've been waiting for this for like weeks and weeks and weeks because I tease it all the time.
Better not disappoint, dude.
No, there's absolutely no way it can. But the thing is, you think about it and you look back on it with, and how devastating something like that could be in a young man's life. But when you look back and you think, you were 16 and the girl that you were with was probably 15 at the time, maybe a little younger. And you're like, oh my gosh. And it was like the end of the world for you. And you're 16 years old. And then looking back and see it, but yeah, that's going to be a doozer of a story. There's music. I literally have a soundtrack for it. I have a soundtrack for it, and yes. Why Can't This Night Go On Forever by Journey is one of the songs.
Yes.
And then I
hope this is epic. I better piss my pants. That's all I hope. I better.
It's hilarious and it's it's kind of pathetic. It's hilarious and a little pathetic all at the same time. And yeah, like how foolish you will go to like kindle like a romance with someone it's unbelievable.
I'm kind of picturing the guy from Superbad. I'm kind of picturing that whole story.
Yeah, it's really like it started with the excitement and everything like that, and it just went downhill and crashed and burned.
All right.
And it was yes, it was yes, yeah. It just crashed.
Yeah, I love that
line. It just crashed and burned, and like it was funny. I was talking to my wife, and she's like, you can't like go into a lot of detail because what if the girl like listens? I'm still Facebook friends with her actually, even to this day. And I'm like, no, I'm not gonna. I said that's gonna mostly embarrass me. I'm not gonna embarrass anyone else. It's gonna embarrass me if anything.
Go into detail and just change the name. That's names are changed to protect the innocent. Like, that's all.
God, just a goofy thing is like we would do like in when we were that age and just never remember. But it was such an awesome time. It really was. And you look back at all that stuff, and we're just talking a little bit about movies and all that kind of thing. But going to the malls and going to arcades oh my gosh, like kids, people will never know like how cool that was to do all of that stuff. And I was kind of lucky because I got a job at 16, 17 working at a record store. So one of the coolest places you can work in a mall at that time, and not to mention we got a really killer discount. So I got all my cassettes for like $2 a piece. So I'm like, my whole paycheck's going right back there. Every time I get paid, the manager's like, "Oh, you're blowing your whole paycheck here again? I'm like, yeah, probably. Oh my gosh.
I don't know.
It's worth it.
I miss the blockbusters. Like, I still think that's a whole experience that kids nowadays miss out on, is like going to pick out the movies on a Friday night for the weekend and, you know, roaming up and down that. And, you know, the experience, the Toys R Us experience, like that was something in my childhood. Like, my mom still to this day says, like, your poor father, you would have him for an hour walking up and down the toy aisle trying to pick out a toy. And, you know, that's something, you know, now Walmart's toy department, I take my daughter and their toy department sucks. Like, it's a mess. Like, Target's the closest thing that's like good, you know? And,
wait, did Toys R Us close?
Yeah.
It did?
Yes.
They're reopening them in like small little like things, but no, it's gone. It's heartbreaking.
Yeah, it is.
Sad. There's nothing good.
There's literally nothing. I like it the thing is, and this is a reason why I like, you know, the music you guys do so much too, is because not only is it keeping that alive with everybody, but, you know, folks like me who are old, we like to relive all that stuff. So, you know, when you hear it, and like I said, I can listen to your music and have that playing in my car, driving down the street on a random night with the window down and stuff like that. And that it reminds me of when I was 16 years old. My dad bought me my first car. I had a 1969 Monte Carlo with a cassette deck, and, you know, listening to the music in my car and stuff like that. And it brings like all that stuff back. And I think that's tremendous.
And then he slowly like coasts off the side of the road and almost hits a guide rail.
Yep.
So he almost killed Joe while he's about his thing. Great job, guys. Good job. Sorry. No, it's true though. Like, that's the awesome thing is it's like, you know, like for people who love this kind of music, it's like you love that stuff back then, and it's like you're always looking for something. Like Joe and I mentioned it before. I'll send him something. I'll be like, dude, doesn't that sound like? And we'll talk. And I'm like, man, I really wish we had something that sort of sounds. And then like all of a sudden we're turned on to your style of music, and it's like, oh my God, finally there's something that, you know, we've been looking for so long. And I'm like, listen to this, and then I get him turned on to it, and then now it's like I can't shut him the hell up, because every 2 minutes he's like, dude, listen to this, dude, listen to that. Like, my Facebook Messenger explodes, because every 5 minutes it's like, here's another damn band that Joe's sending me through Facebook. And I'm like, all right, Joe, stop it. You know? But it's awesome, because it's like just exactly what we wanted, you know, like something good.
Yeah.
So
It was actually
now I'm in the hardcore gangster rap, because I'm sick of Joe sending me all this genre.
That's another nostalgia genre, though.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, look at the Super Bowl this year. The Super Bowl with all the '90s rap artists on. That was hilarious.
Broaden your horizons. You know,
my youngest came home. She was at a Super Bowl party, and she walked in the house, and I said, "Did you watch the halftime show?" She's like, "Yeah." I'm like, she rolled her eyes, and I'm like,
she got a neck tattoo. No,
I said she rolled her eyes at me, and she's like, yeah, I didn't know anyone at all that was on that. And I'm like, I figured you probably wouldn't. And she's like, yeah, no, I didn't know a soul that was on that show. I'm like, oh my gosh.
You told me her thing said Thug Life across her neck.
Yeah, yes. Oh, there you go. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I doubt that would ever happen, but yeah.
Yeah.
So, man, I got to ask you both, favorite, I'm sure you both were into video game, favorite video game.
Oh my God. From that era, or like
whenever, doesn't matter. But yeah, I mean, if you had one from back then, cool. If not, it could be one of the newer ones too.
Tetris was like my go-to back then. Let's see. I mean, the Super Mario sort of stuff as well. I did like PlayStation after that. So like Tomb Raider, stuff like that. I'm a huge gamer. So, like,
Awesome.
I was gonna ask you if that's a gaming headset that you have on.
it is, yeah.
Oh.
That's what I was gonna ask you.
Well, then we got to know what do you play now?
Rocket League is my go-to, kind of. I blew out my ACL and meniscus and MCL playing soccer in 2009. So Rocket League is kind of how I vicariously play soccer. So, but I'll play I don't know, tons of other games. Like I'm on my second playthrough of Skyrim right now. I'm waiting for the new Witcher.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Whenever, yeah, it's such a good game. Gosh, there's so I don't know, so many. Like, I'm pretty sure, like you name it, I probably played it or I'm interested in it. So
I'm obsessed with Elden Ring right now.
I need to play that.
That's so good.
Oh my god, it is so good and it is so difficult,
Yes.
but it is awesome. I'm like loving it.
I've
Play
heard
it.
great things.
Play it. Make
Yes.
sure you do.
All right,
Phenomenal.
Okay.
Very good.
Sounds
Scott, go ahead.
Oh man, there was so many, but I would have to say The Legend of Zelda and Contra. Those were my games right there.
Up, up, down, down. You know the code?
Yeah.
Remember?
Maybe start.
That's awesome. I've always been a big fan of the Final Fantasy series.
Oh yeah.
And again, like, which goes with the conversation. So they just made a new one that takes elements from that Elden Ring. So it's got like that Dark Souls kind of Elden Ring type gameplay, but it's a remake of the first. So they literally remade the original NES Final Fantasy that came out like in 87. I think it was 87, 88. But they made it with, like today's graphics, and the you're fighting the same characters that you fought that were like this big on the screen back then, these little blocky characters. And you're back, you're doing, but it's essentially the same story. And I'm like, wow, that's really kind of cool. So they took the game from back then. That was the literally most expensive. I remember saving money to go buy that. And I went to go to a KB toy store because you didn't have electronic games places back then. There was no GameStop to go to. So I remember going there. And I had money I'm thinking, okay, $50, $60 and around there. Games used to cost then too. And I remember walking in and I looked at the thing. I saw the box. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to get that. The guy pulls it down and he's like, yeah, it's $99. I'm like, what?
Oh.
for a game? I'm like, dude, are you kidding me? And I'm just thinking to myself, I got like $60 in my pocket. I'm not buying.
Aww.
He's like, and then he starts to tell me, oh, yeah, dude, there's like a way to save games on this game. It has a battery in it. It was a stupid watch battery that they put in games to make them save back then. And it was literally, along with Zelda, one of the first two games that you could do that with because you couldn't save your games. And on those two games, though, they had like a battery backup, basically. And because of that, they charged you $30 more for the game. I'm like, oh, my God.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, you wonder if people have those today. I was talking to somebody about this the other day, and they're like, well, the battery would be dead at that point. I'm like, oh, you're not kidding, it would be. I said, you probably can't save it because unless you have that battery in there, there's no way to actually go back. But you can get the games now in so many other formats. You can get it on an iPad and just play it on that format and stuff too. But oh my gosh, gaming was amazing. We stayed up that game in particular, and I can remember memories of myself, my cousin, my best friend at the time. We'd stay up and just sit there, and one person would play because it's a one-person game. You can't play those RPGs with multiple people. They'd stay up and watch me. And we'd be up till 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. The sun be coming up, and we're sitting there watching this game going through.
Yeah.
And most of the time, all you're doing is just fighting things. And there's really nothing to do other than. But yet, they were almost like their own game guide. They're like, okay, well, you missed this. You got to go back and you got to do this. And they would talk me through the. Oh my God, what great times!
That's fun.
Oh, what great times!
Yeah.
So. What's in the future? I know we talked about Scott's album coming up. Star, what are you working on? What do you have coming up?
Let's see. In May, the Bandcamp Friday for May, I have a collab with Eulalie. She's a Japanese artist.
Cool.
It's kind of like it's hard to explain the genre. It's like techno, but not really techno, electronica, but not really electronica. It's kind of electronic for sure, with like a dancey sort of beat. And she sings like Japanese lyrics, and I will sing
Ooh,
English lyrics.
nice.
Yeah, it's
Oh, that's
really
awesome.
cool. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that one. After that, I've been talking to Tara Bud. We're supposed to do a collab pretty soon. I have a lot of like just solo singles and stuff like that. Just gonna be released throughout the year for sure.
Oh,
So
that's awesome.
yeah, I'm always working on stuff. So yeah.
Right?
I mean,
It's like
I know,
constant. You're like, I'm
right,
gonna take a
never
break now, and then you wake up the next day and you just start collabing.
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
let's go.
yeah. It never ends.
I could see behind you, both of you have the sound, the sound, the pads and stuff like that for
Yeah.
the sound on your. So are you both? I'm assuming you both have studios in your house.
Just yeah.
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 I'm in my
Okay.
studio. Yeah.
How different or how hard is it now? I mean, we're still in that COVID time kind of thing. I mean, we're hopefully getting to the end of it, but how hard is it to do, like for you two guys to have collaborated? How difficult is that to do now, or isn't it difficult at all really anymore with the technology to do something like that without being? I mean, because 30, 40 years ago, you would have had to have gone to the same studio. So how hard is it to do that stuff, or is it easier now with today's technology?
I feel like it's easier as long as the person you're collaborating with has like a way to record and you're on the same page musically. That's my opinion, I guess.
Okay. All right. Scott, same thing.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like, I mean that's one thing I'd have to say is better about now, because everything else, of course, I'm gonna be like 70s and 80s. You can't top that, or the 90s.
Right.
But as far as technology goes and recording, being able to collaborate from all over the world, it's amazing. So yeah, it's so much easier, because when I first started doing music, I would collaborate with like people from a different county, or a different state, and driving there, and it was just
Yep.
it was kind of a pain. But yeah, so now it's just really easy just to plug in, turn on your computer, text each other, and then send each other tracks.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Some synthwave artists or bands that you guys are fans of. Like I know Scott has mentioned. You mentioned the Midnight. You also mentioned the Dark Synth. There was a new song. I think it released last week. It was Carpenter Brute and Gunship did a collaboration. Oh man, is that heavy? And I don't know if you heard that.
Not yet.
Did you listen to that? Oh my gosh. Wow. Like Dave Carpenter Brute has an upcoming album, and it's off of that. And oh my gosh, that's got to be one of the heaviest synth songs I've heard. Like heavy guitar. It was almost like thrash, like metal. Like it's crazy.
I want to say they were like a metal band before. Is that right? Like,
Carpenter,
I think so.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I could see that but having them like playing in the background, and then the lead singer of Gunship is singing the vocals, which I think he's got a really, I like his voice. He's got a very like distinct voice as well. But yeah, what are some of the artists and stuff that you guys listen to, from the genre that you kind of keep your eyes on? Star, you could start. Who are some of the people that you're, and I love how too you guys refer to them on Twitter and on the socials as a synth fan, which is awesome. I'll tell you what, they have been amazing with us as well. Like, because people have, so I put that out there, like we're doing our mixtape minute, because we have that part of our show every week now. We formatted our show a little bit differently when we started the year. And so we have that part of our show, and almost every week someone else is saying, hey, I saw that you guys do that. Can I send something? I'm like, oh my God, yeah, please do. But they're all really, really awesome people. And I know Scott refers to them as Synth Fam out there. I've seen that, hashtag Synth Fam. So who are some of the people that you really listen to, that you guys really like from the synthwave industry today?
Most of the people I like are like fairly underground, and I would consider them part of like that whole synth fam. There's Neon, oh my gosh, Manhattan's great, Decisive Koala, let's see, like Oceanside 85. Elevate the Sky, of course.
Thanks.
There's so many, like Thorson, Annie, Elixir and Nelio. There's just so many coming up from like the underground scene that are just phenomenal. It's pretty amazing. So those are the ones off the top of my head. I'm sure I'm forgetting many of them. But, yeah.
And Scott, for you.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, definitely Star Madman. Anything you do, I love. It's just like it's default, you know. But yeah, definitely her
put your
sound engine is amazing.
Oh yeah.
And Jacket, System Glitch, Street Cleaner, The Golden Hour. Yeah, there's so many really great artists, that's been around for a while or just now coming out, like the Future Kids. I think Future Kids is doing really awesome stuff. But yeah, so many. There's so many out there.
Yeah.
Shades of Thunder.
Chloe. There's so many. Gosh, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Just keep coming out with stuff.
Yeah, you wake up and there's like 100 more.
I think it's exciting too that a lot of people are starting to get back out there. Like people are going back on tour and things like that now too. So a lot of these bands you're seeing that are going around the country again, and they're starting to play on tour, which is awesome because and it's cool because a lot of them will play. The Midnight played recently, I think, in Philadelphia, so they weren't that far away from where I am. But I think it's cool. They'll play like these. They're not playing big, huge places, but some of them they'll pick like these clubs and stuff like that kind of almost look like an 80s style club. And I think it's great. And when you get to see some of the highlights or people record, but I'll tell you what, the fans are tremendous. They are literally on their feet the entire time. Most of them all know every word to every single song that band plays. And I'm thinking to myself, man, that's got to be awesome. And for you guys too, just knowing that someone is out there like singing your song at the top of their lungs that's got to be a fantastic feeling. I mean, I could never even imagine, but that's got to be amazing. And even knowing that. You're putting out this music and leaving a piece of yourself out there that will, it's out there forever. I think that's awesome. That's absolutely tremendous. It's great to hear that both of you are such big 80s fans, and I absolutely love that. The video obviously is going to premiere after our show, so make sure that you stick around. Scott and or Star, where can the guys download this from?
It's going to be on both of our Bandcamp pages.
Okay.
Let's see, there's that's like for download. I think that's the only place you can like actually download and buy it. I mean, I actually Apple Music, you can do it there as well.
Awesome.
Any sort of streaming site like that where you can like purchase, you can get it there. I'm
Awesome.
pretty sure it's everywhere. So.
And we'll put the links up that night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes, we will absolutely do that. I think I've already shared it a little. I've shared it a couple times already on Twitter as well. Well, that's awesome. So happy for you guys that the single is coming out. And I can't wait for everybody to see the video because I know everyone's going to like it. I think you were saying too, Scott, that there's another show I think that's going to have it for you as well. That's
the Fourth Sector. Yeah, which is a collaboration with Michael Anthony and Ashley Anita, Forge of Neon, and Pop Art Avenue.
Nice.
It's going to be really awesome because they're trying to. I mean, they're still going to do the synthwave thing, but they're also going to expand and do a lot of cyberpunk and,
cool.
Dark synths. It kind of merge the worlds together into one place. That's going to be cool.
Cool.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So yes, stick around afterwards. Well, before we let you guys go, first of all, we're going to thank you very much, both of you, for coming out tonight. Really, really appreciate it. You are more than welcome anytime to come and just sit and chat with us about silly 80s stuff.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
thank you.
Speaking of that, since this weekend is WrestleMania, Joe, in 1989 was WrestleMania 5. Hulk Hogan defeated Randy the Macho Man to win the WWF Championship. So WrestleMania weekend. Just thought you would know that.
There's a blast from the past. Yes,
we got to do some 80s trivia.
Oh my gosh,
so, a little bit of 80s.
That's awesome. But yeah, you guys are welcome back anytime. And obviously, we love having both of you on. Congratulations on the song's release and on the video's release. I know our audience is going to love it. Again, if you want to hear me make a fool out of myself, watch the prom show because that definitely I'll definitely be doing that. Oh my gosh. Well, hey, it's been great chatting with you guys. Really appreciate your time tonight, and we can't wait to hear what's next from both of you coming up. And again, really, really glad that you were able to make it on the show tonight. Really, really appreciate that. Scott, obviously, let us know about the album. I know we're excited too because we actually sent Scott clips to be in a video. Oh my god.
And Star Madman.
I talked Ed's off about that. Ed's ear off about that too. I'm like, dude, you don't understand how important it is. I like how much I always had wanted to be in a music video when I was growing up watching MTV. I said, oh my god, I'm actually going to be in a music video. That's amazing. But yes, so keep your eyes out for that. We will let you know when the album releases and stuff like that. We'll keep you posted. And I'm sure you'll hear these guys' music on Mixtape Minute at some point as well down the road on our show. So of course, from Scott from Elevate the Sky. Scott, let people know where they can find you, and Star, you do the same. So where can they find you on the socials? Let them all know.
Awesome. So you can find Elevate the Sky on Bandcamp. Just put in Elevate the Sky, and Elevate the Sky 1 on Twitter, and just Elevate the Sky at Elevate the Sky on Instagram, and the same thing on Facebook.
I'm at Star Madman. I think pretty much across every platform, or just search for Star Madman on Facebook, and I think that's it.
Right. Star, real quick, where did you come up with the name?
All right, so it's an anagram. Okay, so I made it when I was 16.
Wow. Okay.
And it's like, so it's some of the letters of my legal name. But I was 16 and some just didn't make the cut. Not all the letters didn't make it. So and I don't know. Yeah, I just thought it would be an interesting name. I kind of don't exactly remember all of the reasoning, but I just kind of stuck with it, and it's kind of just what I've done.
That's awesome, Scott.
Yeah.
I don't know if we ever asked you that question either. I don't know if we asked you where you came up with Elevate the Sky.
Oh, so when I was searching for a band name, I really wanted to find something that sounded uplifting and positive. And one of the first things that came to my mind was Sky's the Limit. But I didn't want to go with that. So I thought, how can I take that and just kind of, make it my own? So I thought, well, go beyond the sky, elevate the sky.
That's awesome. That's very cool.
Like that.
Good stuff. All right, guys. So that is the end of our show. And again, stick around. We are going to have the video on directly afterwards. So again, thank you so much to Elevate the Sky and Star Madman for joining us tonight to talk about their video that we are going to show and their upcoming song as well. So again, from my co-captain Ed and Google and myself, we hope to see you all again next week on I Live the 80s. You guys stick around afterwards and we'll we'll chat a little bit before we head out. So, guys, it was a great time. Thank you so much for coming out, and we will talk to you all soon. Have a great week, and hope to see you. I think in a couple weeks actually for the infamous prom episode. Yeah. Have a great rest of your night. We'll talk to you all soon.
And now we're gonna go right into the video. So.